Welcome to the front row seat of Chambersburg. You're about to see the annual light and sound reenactment. Before you watch this incredible 45-minute production from beginning to end, let's look back at the actual history that shook these very streets. It was the height of the American Civil War. On the morning of Saturday, July the 30th, 1864, Confederate General John McCaslin marched nearly 3,000 cavalrymen into the center of Chambersburg. They were acting under strict retaliatory orders from General Jubal Early to demand a massive financial ransom from the townspeople. The Confederate forces delivered an impossible ultimatum to the citizens gathered in the town square. Chambersburg was ordered to pay $100,000 in gold or $500,000 in Union currency. If they refused, the town would be destroyed. But the residents simply did not have the funds. Anticipating previous raids, the local banks had already evacuated all their cash and valuables north for safekeeping. When it became clear the ransom could not be met, the Confederate troops moved swiftly. Armed with oil and torches, squads of soldiers systematically set fire to the heart of the community. In a matter of hours, over 500 buildings, including homes and businesses and the historic courthouse, were completely reduced to ash, leaving more than 2,000 neighbors entirely homeless. Chambersburg became the only northern town completely destroyed by the Confederate forces during the war. Yet the true legacy of this historic event isn't the destruction, it's remarkable spirit of survival that followed. The citizens refused to let their community die. They stayed, supported one another, and completely rebuilt the town from the ground up, brick by brick. What you are about to watch in the full immersive community production that commemorates the dark day and celebrates the unstoppable resilience of this town. Turn up your volume, settle in, and experience the ransoming, burning, and rebirth of Chambersburg.
Beautiful for spacious sky, for amber plains of grain, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed thine grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrims' feet, whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare of freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in love. Oh, beautiful for heroes prove in liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be
Penn, expelled from Oxford, disowned by his father, and imprisoned in the Tower of London for his beliefs, embodied the spirit of those who settled Pennsylvania and Franklin County. They came seeking freedom, opportunity, and a land that could sustain both body and soul. Franklin County lies in the heart of the Great Appalachian Valley, a landscape named by the Lenni Lenape for its endless hills, clear waters, and rich forests. Its valleys, Path, Horse, Bear, Amberson, Cove Gap, and Little Cove offered beauty and abundance that drew settlers west. Scots-Irish pioneers arrived first, followed by German immigrants whose skill and perseverance helped the county grow.
Settlement in Franklin County began in the 1730s in what was called the Conococheague Settlement, named for the waterway whose Lenape name means a long way indeed. Early settlers built homes, mills, and churches as word spread of good land and abundant water. As settlement expanded, native hunting and fishing grounds disappeared, straining relations and leading to raids on frontier families. Forts such as Chambers Fort and Fort McCord offered a protection, but violence grew as the Delaware allied with the French during the French and Indian War. In 1764, Delaware warriors attacked Enoch Brown's school near Greencastle, killing the schoolmaster and 9 children, an act even condemned by Chief Neepawes. It was a brutal period marked by fear, retaliation, and a bounty on native scalps issued by Governor John Penn.
Not every Indian attack ended in death. Some settlers were taken captive to replace lost family members or to trade. In 1755, James Smith of Franklin County was seized while working on the Braddock Road. He was adopted into a Mohawk family, escaped, was captured by the French, and eventually returned home. Frontier attacks continued through the French and Indian War. To protect settlers, the British built a chain of forts, including Fort Loudon, which served as a supply base for the Forbes Road and campaign that drove the French from Fort Duquesne. After the war, tensions eased but never disappeared. Traders still sold banned weapons to native tribes, endangering settlers. James Smith and his men, the Black Boys, destroyed contraband goods, clashed with traders, and confronted the British at Fort Loudon. In 1765, after a 6-hour siege, the British surrendered the seized weapons and abandoned the fort, an act of colonial rebellion a decade before the Revolution.
Thompson's Rifle Battalion, authorized by the Continental
I, James Smith, and my Rangers fought against British soldiers stationed at Fort Loudon at 5 different times. 5 different skirmishes we fought against them. We even kidnapped their commander, Lieutenant Grant. You must remember, in November of 1765, as Pennsylvanians built Fort Loudon in 1756, we retook and claimed Fort Loudon in 1765.
Congress on June 14, 1775, recruited riflemen from Franklin County. Company A, led by James Chambers and accompanied by his 12-year-old son Benjamin, marched with units from Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia to Boston. They fought through the long years of the Revolution and helped secure American independence. By then, the settlement had grown to about 13,000 people, many traveling up to 40 miles to Carlisle for county business. In 1784, the legislature approved a new county carved from Cumberland. On September 9, 1784, Franklin County was officially created, named for Benjamin Franklin, with Chambers Town as its seat. Wasting no time, Colonel Benjamin Chambers conveyed land on September 24, 1784, for a courthouse and public buildings, the site where the old courthouse still stands today.
Franklin County had post offices in Chambersburg, Greencastle, and Shippensburg. Chambersburg was placed on the Philadelphia-Pittsburgh Postal Road in 1803, later rebuilt as the Chambersburg-Bedford Turnpike. State funding in the 1820s expanded major roads across the county, strengthening its transportation network. The Cumberland Valley Railroad arrived in 1837, And until the Pennsylvania Railroad's main line opened in 1857, the fastest route from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia ran by stagecoach to Chambersburg, then by rail east. Farming remained central, supported by mills, factories, and trade along these routes. Inventors George Frick and Peter Geiser revolutionized agriculture with steam-powered machinery. By 1850, Franklin County's population topped 39,000, 3 times its size at founding, marking a period of rapid growth and rising questions of ethics, respect, and freedom across America.
From 1830 to 1860, the Underground Railroad helped tens of thousands escape slavery, and Franklin County, just north of the Mason-Dixon line, held nearly 100 miles of hidden routes. In Mercersburg, barber Jacob Bazin and his son George guided hundreds of freedom seekers. Others crossed South Mountain into Rouserville and found refuge at Thaddeus Stevens' Caledonia Iron Works, working safely among free men and fellow travelers. By 1859, Franklin County had become John Brown's northern base. He moved quietly through Mont Alto, Greencastle, and Chambersburg, appearing to most as an older man who mixed mining work with a little fishing. On October 16, 1859, John Brown raided Harper's Ferry and was captured by Marine troops under command of Robert E. Lee. After a trial in Charlestown, he was sentenced to hang.
I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of this guilty land will never be purged away but with blood. I had, as I now vainly think, flattered myself that it could be done without very much bloodshed.
My uncle, President James Buchanan, is deeply troubled by the state of the nation and is not one to see it divided. Compromise, Uncle says, is the way to preserve the Union. I love my uncle. He has been a godsend to my life, showing me the world and allowing me to do more than women of my generation could ever imagine. Yet these tensions are deep, and though I tell him that God will guide the nation, I do worry about my country and my uncle.
By Lincoln's inauguration on March 4th, 1861, 7 states left the Union. President Lincoln declared the secessions legally void and vowed to maintain possession of federal facilities for the United States of America. 5 weeks later, on April 12, 1861, Confederate troops shelled Fort Sumter. Word of the shelling reached Chambersburg by telegraph, and Franklin County would never be the same.
The time is July 1864. 15,000 Confederate troops, commanded by General Jubal Early, are moving through the Shenandoah Valley, damaging rail lines and disrupting the Union supply chain. Confederate General Robert E. Lee is using Early and his forces to threaten Washington, D.C., hoping the pressure will force Union General Ulysses S. Grant to move troops away from Petersburg, Virginia, to protect Washington, D.C. Throughout the summer of 1864, Grant used Union forces to pressure Petersburg, where 5 train lines converged, knowing control of Petersburg would isolate and stifle the Confederate capital of Richmond. On July 4th, 1864, Jubal Early's Confederate force captured Union supplies in Martinsburg and Harper's Ferry. 2 days later, Early's men crossed the Potomac and entered Maryland. On July 9th, at the Battle of Monocacy, Union forces slowed Early's advance and allowed enough time for Union reinforcements to reach Washington, D.C. On July 11th and 12th, Early and his troops reached the outskirts of Washington, D.C., attacked Fort Stevens, skirmished for 2 days, and, unable to make headway, retreated. On July 25th, 1864, Confederate forces seized Martinsburg. In the days following the occupation of Martinsburg, General Jubal Early reflected on the destruction of the Shenandoah Valley and considered his next action.
Step back to a hot July day. Franklin County communities were growing and changing. The county's population was about 45,000. Farming was still a mainstay, and acre after acre of farmland spread across the Mason-Dixon line into the great Appalachian Valley. It was the midst of the Civil War. After Franklin County served as a training ground for Union soldiers, and the Cumberland Valley Railroad carried supplies into the Shenandoah Valley. After Jeb Stuart raided Franklin County in 1862, relieving it of horses, clothing, food, and hostages, even after the Great Invasion of Pennsylvania in June 1863, when 75,000 Confederate soldiers camped throughout Franklin County, flying their flags over Waynesboro and Chambersburg before moving on to the battle at Gettysburg and the retreat through Monterey Pass. At no time was war closer to the people of Franklin County than on July 30th, 1864.
Mr. Sharp, look over there. It looks like there are Confederates in front of the hotels. I wonder what they could be up to.
They're probably up to no good, Jacob.
Huh. Yeah, it's another hot day in July.
Oh,
We've
yes.
had so many of them this July. But it's the 30th already, nearly the end of the month. But I expect we will have a blazing hot August as well. Oh, just look at the sun beating down on top of the county courthouse. It could be any Saturday here in Chambersburg, except for whatever those rebels are doing over there.
I hope they enjoyed their breakfast at the Franklin Hotel.
They probably paid with Confederate script. You know, they took all of my chickens, and they left me nothing but this worthless Confederate script.
Jacob, I saw them coming out of the neighbor's smokehouse with their hands. And then they were scaring the children. And then on top of that, they took the laundry right off the clothesline.
You know, Mrs. Ludwig, she was baking some bread in her summer kitchen. When she goes out to check on the bread, all of the loaves are gone. Huh. You know, and I heard that they were asking about Ludwig's brewery and the apothecary.
Well, I tell you, Jacob, look at them now, they're bedeviling our town folk.
Wait.
Is that right? Yeah.
There are a lot of things that we can take here. You, sir, I'm talking to you. This sure is a nice looking shirt you have on there. It's also a pair of nice sturdy shoes. What size are those? Doesn't matter. Give them to me because my men can use them either way. And what is in this? I think I'll be taking a little bit of this. Oh, that is some fine Pennsylvania whiskey we have there. Well, howdy do, ladies. For a bunch of northerners, you sure are looking very pretty.
Let me alone, please.
Yes, sir.
Which order?
Yes, sir.
You are a brave young lady for standing up for yourself. So good.
Yes, you are.
Oh, is that thunder I hear in the distance? Maybe we will have some relief from this heat after all.
Nein, Jakob, I think that may be artillery. Yeah, that was definitely a cannon.
You know, I think we might have something more than cannon fire to worry about. I hear horses. Many, many horses.
Citizens of Chambersburg! Citizens of Chambersburg, gather around now, gather around. Get your family, your friends. Come on now, get over here, get over here, gather around now, gather around now. General John the Closet is here, and he demands your attention.
Do not be foolish. Gather the leaders of your town. This is a matter of great importance.
Jakob, what's this loss? Why are they gathering us together?
I do not know, but I have a feeling we are going to find out very soon.
People of Chambersburg, people of Chambersburg, I'm here on official business of the Army of Northern Virginia. I'm General John McCausland, and I bring orders from General Jubal Early. Move closer, you must listen. The armies of the Confederacy have seen the devastation of the Shenandoah Valley. General Early witnessed with his own eyes the charred remains of burned homes, barns, and businesses. And he has decreed that it is therefore time to open the eyes of the people of the North to the enormity of those actions by an example of retaliation. The town of Chambersburg has been selected as the site for such retribution. I shall read his proclamation. By order of General Jubal Early of the Army of Northern Virginia, Chambersburg is hereby ordered to pay $100,000 in gold or $500,000 in Yankee greenbacks. If this demand is not met, Chambersburg is to be burned. So talk among yourselves, gather your resources, and pay this ransom, else your town will be burned.
These orders are official. This is serious.
This is real. You pay up or you'll know.
The ransom demand is clear.
You better come together and pay the ransom because we do have our orders.
Yeah.
This cannot be. We cannot pay so much.
Use your time wisely and gather the money.
Start your family. Open your bank vault. Bring your valuables.
You there? Yes, you there in the brown. Bring that man to me. Who are you, sir? What is your name? What is your role in this town?
My name is Jacob Oak. I am a merchant here on the island and one of the leading citizens of Chambersburg. My friends, my family, neighbors, we have all worked very hard to build the houses, businesses, and the community that we have here. How can you ask us to pay this money? We do not have this kind of money. Let me assure you, sir, Chambersburg does not have that kind of wealth. We are a community of simple farmers and merchants. We are a humble and generous people, but we cannot afford what you are telling us.
Well, we are generous and good people in the South as well, sir. You misunderstand. This is nothing personal. This is war. I'm General John McCausland, a Confederate commander, and I come here with orders from General Jubal Early. Now, he has decreed the town to be ransomed, so you are going to pay, else your town will be destroyed.
We have been raided. We've been occupied, liberated, and occupied again. This is more than any town's share of war. We have met our struggles before, and we will continue to do so.
Yeah, okay. You go ahead and think about gathering up those resources and paying this ransom instead of waiting on someone to ride in and save you. If my commanders could step forward. Ma'am? Colonel Peters, yes, sir. What is the status on the men on the Western Heights and the other approaches, the roads into town?
Pickets have been placed on all approaches to the town. Now, scouts report that there's Yankee cavalry about 10 miles south there at Greencastle. I believe it's April with a force equal to our own.
April. Well, we've whipped April before, haven't we, boys? Yeah. Whipped him good. I have no doubt we can do it again, but I do not wish to fight him here. These people may think we are a pack of devils, but I will spare them the hells of war if I can.
He hasn't moved yet. He may not wish to fight us here. He may actually wish to ambush us on our way south, on our way to Potomac, thinking we'll take the same route Stuart did in 62.
Well, old Jeb is gone now. God rest his soul. And our mission here is quite different than his ride around McClellan.
Well, sir, if he doesn't fight us here, might give these town folks, and we might get a ransom if we give them a bit more time.
I doubt it, Colonel. I doubt it, Colonel. Either these townsfolk are stubborn, or maybe they don't take us seriously. Regardless of their reasons, we can't afford to fall into the Yankee trap. But I won't tolerate too much stalling from these obstinate farmers, neither.
General McCausland, sir, $500,000 is more than twice the demand for Frederick City in Maryland. We were able to collect $200,000 from Frederick. Perhaps for a town of this size, the demand is too high.
General Johnson, these orders come directly from Jubal Early himself. I'm compelled to obey them, as are you. Now, you've seen these orders. You know they cannot be changed. So instead of countermanding me, you need to be keeping an eye out for those Union reinforcements and organizing your men into different parties here in town.
Yes, sir.
Major Gilmore, have we secured more barrels of kerosene? Very good.
I must speak with General McCausland.
All right, let him through.
You have confiscated more items. Medical supplies, clothing, and much, much more. Maybe if we can give you some grain, silage, and some hay, that will be sufficient to ransom Chambersburg.
I don't need any of that, sir. I need you to open up your pockets, your ladies' purses over here, your bank vaults across the way. Open them up, find what it is you claim you do not have, and give it to us before your town is destroyed.
Let us reason with one another. You have spoken of the devastation in the South. Perhaps your own neighbors, friends, your family. Why would you wish to perpetuate the same result on the poor defenseless people of Chambersburg?
We have seen the destruction, haven't we, boys? Destruction brought by the same armies you're hoping will rescue you today, Mr. Hoke. Those same armies have been very busy burning women and children out of their homes throughout the Shenandoah Valley.
What kind of men are you? What kind of laws or rules of war do you follow that allow you to make war on people who cannot defend themselves?
You ask what kind of men we are? My ranks, they're filled with farmers, merchants, carpenters, ordinary men caught up in extraordinary circumstances. I was a professor at the Virginia Military Institute before this war began. It was my cadets who guarded your own John Brown after his failed insurrection in Harper's Ferry. So, you ask what kind of men we are? We are the men Virginia relies upon to beat back the waves of endless northern invaders that have rolled down out of Pennsylvania and the other Yankee states. For what? To do nothing more than wage a relentless war of aggression against their own brethren below the Mason-Dixon.
General, what you are demanding of us is more than we can give. We have already told you that we are unable to meet your ransom demands. Most of the men in town refuse to pay even a partial tribute. The banks have sent all of the money east. I assure you, our hands are tied in this matter. General, I believe you will regret what you are doing here if you live to regret anything at all.
The ransom demand is clear. Time is short, and I will not negotiate for spoils of war.
Please, we are women and children and grandparents.
Our children, this is so terrible.
Men, I can see now this ransom demand will not be paid.
We have worked so hard, it makes no sense.
So many of our community are women and children. Where are we to go? Where are we to live?
Please spare us.
We will begin the burning here at the courthouse.
Oh, no, stop! No! This is not right.
Mercy, is there nothing we can do to stop this senseless destruction?
Your wallet, your purses.
Stop moving those kerosene barrels, men.
Start moving them. Hurt them. Go ahead.
No, stop this.
I want them over there. A couple over here in this corner, too.
Move them. One barrel here.
Oh, Jacob.
I want the next barrel. I want to put right here. Right in the center of the town.
No.
Right here. I want another barrel put right here.
Please, someone stop this.
Anything else we have left will go up there on the courthouse steps.
Stop.
Everything ready, men?
Everything is ready.
Fire the town!
You are a godly man. I beg you to stop these horrible acts.
And if you are a godly man, you must understand that your town's fate is in God's hands. By your refusal, you have sealed that fate. It was your General David Hunter that began this destruction down in Virginia, where Southern families lost their homes and more. So I ask you, sir, where are those godly men of the Union? Where are they now? Where were they when those atrocities were committed?
We did not begin this war. Nothing good can come of this terrible thing you do.
Men, I want a squad over there. Fire the Franklin Hall from within. That's right. Perhaps Chambersburg's sacrifice will stop your Yankee armies from making war on the defenseless and innocent citizens of the Confederacy. You proud Pennsylvanians have refused to pay. Now, the devil is to pay.
With each, another family was left homeless, as if the blazing heat of July was not enough. Young, old, and sick were left without a home to shield them.
The entire heart of town is ablaze. Walls are crumbling and the smoke is so thick. People are fleeing. The stables are afire and no one has been able to release the livestock. It looks as if the paper mill has been fired too. Black swirls of smoke are blowing from the factories along the Conicajay Creek.
Look, so much smoke is coming from North Main. They're burning in every direction. People are fleeing into the alleyways with just the clothes they're wearing. Rebel soldiers are not allowing them to take anything from their homes. Sacred family relics, keepsakes, portraits of deceased friends, and old family Bibles are being snatched from people's hands. They're beating in the doors with iron bars or heavy planks, smashing up furniture with an axe, throwing oil on it, and applying the match. For 2 hours, the work of desolation continued. More than half the town is burning. The wild glare of the flames, the shrieks of women and children, louder than all the terrible blasphemy of the rebels. Unbelievable scene of horror.
The widow and the fatherless continue to plead in vain, but are not scared. They are helpless to stop the Confederate orders and shortly will be homeless. As all hope of mercy closes, the pleading town folk flee.
A little more kerosene over here. A little more over there too. Colonel Peters, I want you to take a detachment of men, fire the Mansion House and Town Hall, then move south on Main Street.
Colonel McCarthy, sir, is this being done by your order? There are women and children here, sir. This ain't right.
General Jubal Anderson Early, my commander and yours, has issued these orders to ransom the town.
Sir, I have honored the Confederacy and Virginia voted for secession. But I would rather resign my commission and break my sword to carry out this order.